drifting ship, I took a look inside. I found a note that someone wrote that said, take her for a ride. I set a course for sights unseen, went out to open sea. To my surprise, a bunch of sailors joined along with me. Now we're sailing on the mystery ship, and all you gotta do is join our trip. There isn't any cost of membership. All the sailors here are really hip. I'm the captain of the mystery ship, and I'm a-calling all aboard our trip. I'm really hoping that you'll enjoy it up on the mystery ship. So bring a friend and come along with us aboard the mystery ship. Well, it sounds like we have our girl Duska on the screen, which means I'd better get my face aboard. And welcome aboard the mystery ship once again. It's your friend Zoso Dude. How are you doing this Friday night? It is great to have all of you here. Let me just get a quick peek around the horn to make sure I'm live everywhere I'm supposed to be live. We are live on X. It is a beautiful thing. We are live on pilled.net, the home of free speech in America, with wonderful people pouring in right now. Great to see you. How are you doing? Wonderful, wonderful. We are live over at Rumble. Rumble, there are 4 people hanging out at Rumble, and whoever you are, I freaking love you. Thanks for being there. I appreciate you more than you'll ever know. How about the Tube? We are live at the Tube right now. We are tubular. We are tubular at the Tube. Look at this. We are live over at D Live. You better be live if you're at D Live, because that's where the cool people are. And look at them. Spud says he has about a 20-year lag. A 5-second lag? What the heck is going on? Really? 5-second lag from real life? I'm going to snap my fingers and count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, you got a 6-second. You got a 6-second lag over there. What the hell's going on around here? What's going on around here? I don't know. I don't know. But we are live at, there's my brother. There's my brother, Matty F&B. He is holding down the fort over there at Twitch. Wonderful. We are live at 6 places, and that tickles my fancy. Have you ever had your fancy tickled? Man, that feels good. It feels good. How you doing out there? This is, boy, this is a topic. Tonight's show is centered around a topic that I have wanted to tackle for some time. I was actually fascinated by this. I think about 2 months ago, I mentioned it one night casually during my show, back before all the insanity happened. And, as you guys know, I just recently turned over a building, and the last 4 weeks of it were just living hell for me. And honestly, it hasn't ceased. Normally, a guy like me, a project superintendent, I build new buildings for a living. You finish a job, you get to the end, you create a little thing called a punch list, which is a bunch of silly little stuff like this door handle doesn't work. The doorbell over there doesn't make any noise when you push on it. Stuff like that. You know, there's a scratch in the wall over here. Get the painter back to paint that little scratch. Stuff like that. It didn't work that way on this project. This project was monumental. It was a $40 million project. It's never ending. The punch list has been never ending, and part of the issue was that the people that I'm working for, the gentleman in charge, just has a little bit different point of view than the average man. Some of the things that he thought should have been included in the punch list really had absolutely nothing to do with me. They were all pre-existing items, door handles not working, and stuff like that. And I tried to gently say, that door was here before I ever walked in this building. That door was there, and it's my guess that it wasn't working then, because all I did was come along and move some walls over here, and what does that have to do with this door not working? I didn't put the door handle on it. Somebody did 4 years ago. So it's been like that. And we got down to final inspections. I'm literally halfway through my final inspections. I had a very important one yesterday, and wouldn't you know it, we failed. We not only failed the final inspection, we failed miserably. And when I say we, I mean it falls on my shoulders because I'm in charge. The buck stops here, but the fact is I have to turn and have at least a little responsibility land on the shoulders of the guy who did the job. So I turned to him and said, dude, you said we were ready. How come we failed? It's been like that. So, anyway, yeah, prior to all that insanity, I used to actually broadcast every Wednesday night and every Friday night. For the last month, I haven't been able to broadcast on Wednesdays and Fridays. I've been down there at the job site until 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. It's been miserable. But I'm back on track now. I have a life again. And about 2 months ago, I came across this topic. And I mentioned it to you guys. And I found it to be, when you read, I'm a lover. I am a lover of things that don't make sense, things that go bump in the night, things that you read about and you say to yourself, well, come on now. Really? Those are the kind of things I love. Things like the Loch Ness Monster. Was it real? Things like, Sasquatch. Is there really a Sasquatch? Things like UFOs. These are all the things that intrigue me. So when I come across something new to sink my teeth into, by God, I relish it. I swirl it around in my mouth and say, God, I kind of like the taste of that. I do. I mean, otherwise the world could be a pretty boring place, couldn't it? I like going into uncharted waters. It's just something that intrigues me. It always has. It always will. And I like to share those things with you. So about 2 months ago, I came across a topic entitled, Are We Living in Satan's Little Season? And I sat and scratched my head because I've known about Satan's little season. I've read about it in the end of the Bible, in the book of Revelation, chapter 20. It mentions a time after Christ comes back and reigns for 1,000 years, The devil is bound for 1,000 years. He's bound for 1,000 years. And then when Christ goes back up, Satan is loosed once again to roam to and fro upon the face of the earth. Now, most biblical scholars, or not biblical scholars per se, most Christians, if you talk to them, they're all hunkered down saying, oh man, we're pre-trib. The tribulation's coming. Are you ready? Are you going to be ready when the tribulation comes? Because it's going to be brutal. That's the way most people these days think. Okay? The idea that we are living in Satan's little season would suggest that Christ has already come. He came back. He came back. He did his 1,000-year reign, and he went back up to heaven. And now we are waiting. We are waiting for the big one, folks. Okay? Satan is loosed once again to run around and gather up whatever last couple of souls he can get before he is cast into the lake of fire once and for all. So the very idea of this, I have to say, when I come across these wild suggestions, at first I'm like Mr. Spock, okay? I raise an eyebrow. What an interesting concept. I wonder if there's any validity to it. So you do some reading, and you do a little more reading, and a little more reading, and it's kind of like, well, like the very first time, God, it's had to have been 10 years now. At least 10 years. When I first came across the concept of flat Earth, you all know the flat Earth thing, right? There's all these ideas, and some of them are interesting enough. There's some validity to some of the concepts that we could, in fact, be living on a flat plane, and that the whole talk about us living on a globe that is spinning and is flying through the galaxy, dragging a bunch of stars behind it while we chase the sun. I mean, that's the funny thing is that nobody can really prove it either way. Okay? A flat Earth, when I first heard about it, I was intrigued. I watched all the videos, and I raised an eyebrow, and I thought, it's kind of interesting that empirically, there's actually more evidence for a flat Earth than there is for there is actually more evidence for a flat Earth than there is for a spinning globe for flying through the air. But, at some point you got to say, come on now. Come on, people. I still am a devout. I can't say with as much as I wanted to be an astronaut as a young boy in the 1960s, as much as I wanted to be one, I still don't know if we landed on the moon or not. I really don't. I don't think there's enough evidence either way. I just don't. And perhaps I'll never know. I was there. I was alive. I watched it on TV, but just what did I watch on TV? These are the things I love. These are the fucking kind of things I love. Things you can sink your teeth into and chew them around, chew them for a while like a good beef jerky, like a teriyaki, like an old trapper. You just stick it in make a plug and chaw on it for a while, and kind of flavorful. I think I like that. Well, it's the same thing here with this Satan's little season. And I was actually more intrigued. I mean, I came across it, like I said, about 2 months ago. About a week ago, maybe it's been 2 weeks, but it was recently enough. My dear brother Frank, over at the Quite Frankly program, he had a guy on who described a bunch of different topics, one of which was Satan's little season, and I was all ears. I even called in that night. I'm like, pretty damn interesting concept. I like anything that challenges me. It makes me do homework. It makes me think. It makes me do research. I love shit like that. Far more than I like stuff that is just black or white, plus or minus. You can figure it out in 5 seconds whether it's bullshit or not. Like all the fraud going on in Minnesota. I mean, unquestionably, that's not bullshit. That is really going on, okay? Stuff like Satan's little season, you got to think about it for a while before you can reach a conclusion. And honestly, at this point, I reserve the right to change my mind because I don't really know. But I do know it's something that I find fascinating. And I hope you will find it fascinating too. I'm going to present a bunch of facts tonight, far more than was discussed on the Quite Frankly program. We're going to go through a whole bunch of shit. I got my Bible right here. I'll be quoting from it. And we're going to look at some really, really interesting stuff tonight. I've been wanting to do this show now. I've been wanting to do this show for a month and a half. Unfortunately, my job got in the way. My job got in the way. Oh man, I'm so glad. Let's just look out and say hello to the wonderful people. I have to do this. Let's start over at Pilled. Why not? We've got great people at Pilled. Girl Patriot, good to see you. Biblical Smackdown. Good evening, my friend. What are you up to tonight, dude? Tonight, you're going to love this, Mr. Biblical Smackdown. Tonight, we are looking at a topic entitled Satan's Little Season. It would suggest that instead of waiting for Christ to return, Satan's little season suggests that Christ already came back. We're living in the time after that. It's a crazy thing, but we're going to look at it. Yes, Rob Stickler, you are exactly right. Up is down, down is up. Who the hell knows? Who knows? This show is designed to make you think. That's what I like doing, making you think. Due diligence in the house. My dear brother, Crazy Chuck with a K, is with us. Biblical Smackdown. How are you doing? Sean Joe in the house, spreading the love, baby. Bringing that cookie love. Thank you so much. Good to see you. Always good to see you. Girl Patriot. Mwah. How are you doing, little lady? Wonderful to see you. Hope you're doing wonderfully. Crazy Chuck with a K. Did I mention him? Safety Net 820. Sloan TV. What's happening over there? Wait, the Texan? Is the Texan in the house? The Texan. Holy Hannah. I hope you're doing well, buddy. Man, I've wanted to call you just about every day this week. I have just been crazy, but I've been thinking about you, wondering about you, hoping you're doing well, brother. I hope, I know you've moved. I don't know if there's a new job in the pipeline, but I'm hoping the world is spinning your way, man. I really am. I really am. Love you, my brother. Freaking love you, man. All right. Well, we got a bunch of people hanging out at Pilled Foxhole. Let's look. We've got, yes, there are souls hanging out at Rumble. That is beautiful. And, yep, we got people at X. Welcome, Xers. Thank you for being there with us. Let's look at the tube. We've got Filigane B, and Never Jabber, and Chuck Jackson, 8457. Good to see you guys. Good to see you guys. Thanks for hanging out over at the tube. Over in D Live, man, it's running deep. It's running deep. TL Spud in the house. Syllabore is with us. Bad Zoot. What's going on, Zoot? How are you? I hope you're exactly as I left you last. Syllabore in the house. I mentioned Syllabore. Lynn Winters. We just got a bunch of the regulars hanging out over there. It's so wonderful to look over and see those smiling faces over at Twitch. My buddy, Matty F&B. Good to see you. Hope you're feeling good, man. Hope you're healing up. I can't wait to get that text that says, I just fired up my Harley. I can't wait to get that text from you. I did get your text today. Thank you kindly. And you're right. It was something interesting. It did pique my interest. All right. We are going to launch into a very, very interesting topic tonight. A really interesting topic. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen right after this. Where is the one I want to open? Here we go. Here it is. I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna play this little video, and when we come back, we're gonna launch right on in to Satan's little season. I'm so glad you're aboard the mystery ship. Thank you for being here. Let's get her going. Let's get her going.
My fellow citizens, our country is in danger, but not to be despaired of. On you depend the fortunes of America. We, the Americans of today, are ready to act worthy of ourselves, ready to do what must be done to ensure happiness and liberty for ourselves, our children, and our children's children. We are a nation under God, and I believe God intended for us to be free. The crisis we're facing today, it does require, however, our best effort and our willingness to believe in ourselves and to believe in our capacity to perform great deeds, to believe that together, with God's help, we can and will resolve the problems which now confront us. And after all, why shouldn't we believe that? We are Americans.
and Rumble and X. That's about enough of that. That's about enough of that. We've seen it, done that, been there, done that. Thank you. Thank you kindly. All right, let's get back to where we are tonight. So, Satan's little season. Have you heard this expression? What it suggests is that instead of us being pre-tribulation, all of us Bible thumpers, all of us Bible-believing Christians, it would suggest that we're behind the game, that Christ has already come back. Now, there's a guy who put together a little Satan's little season in 5 minutes. I'm going to play this only because it's going to save a lot of time in describing it for you. Okay, but we're gonna go in depth. We're going to go in depth on this. But this will give you just a very basic idea of the premise of tonight's show. So let me play this for you, and we'll be back right after this. This gives you a foundation for us to build on. All right? Let's do this. Let's do this.
Could it be a possibility that we are living in Satan's little season? If you don't know what this is, it is the time after the 1,000-year reign of Christ and Satan has been released to deceive the nations once more. If that sounds crazy to you, just hear me out. It sounded crazy to me at first as well. But let's consider the fact that Jesus had literally told those standing in front of him that some would not taste of death till they saw his return. There are many more verses that just don't make sense if we have been waiting for over 2,000 years after these things were spoken. When I had first heard about this, I thought that a lot of people were just saying that the reason they believed this was because of all the wonderful architecture that had been left behind. I truly think that a lot of people just take all this for granted and never really question how all this could have been built in light of the fact that at the time all these people were riding around on horse and buggy. If anything, what it does for those of us who are paying attention is that it gives us perspective. Now, what I mean by that is it shows us the vast contrast between the people and the buildings around them. Another thing, there is also something called Lichtenberg figures that can be found all over the earth. Now, a Lichtenberg figure is formed when there is an electrical discharge, and this has been replicated in real time so we can see the similarities, and people have done these tests. What's really interesting is that it also appears as if a third of the earth has been burned up, just as the Bible says in Revelation. A third of the earth is literally desert. Can it be a coincidence? Maybe. But how many coincidences do we need to see before we start realizing that something catastrophic may have happened in our not so distant past? Is it also a coincidence that where you find these Lichtenberg figures, you also find what look like to be melted buildings? We've been told our whole lives that these are rock structures, but upon closer examination, these clearly don't look like natural formations. The evidence is right in front of us, and it always has been. The problem is that we've never known what we were looking at up until now. And once it's pointed out to you and you see it, you can no longer unsee it. There is also historical proof from first century writers who recorded many miraculous events that happened at that time. Josephus recorded that, quote, chariots and troops of soldiers in their armor were seen running about among the clouds and surrounding of cities. Another historian named Tacitus recorded, and I quote, In the sky appeared a vision of armies in conflict, of glittering armor. Another historian, Josephon, recorded also, and I quote, "Moreover, in those days were seen chariots of fire and horsemen, a great force flying across the sky near to the ground, coming against Jerusalem and all the land of Judah, all of them horses of fire and riders of fire." This would seem an incredible account if it was only stated once. But here I have presented 3 accounts outside of the biblical account that seem to support events mentioned in the Bible that come to pass at the destruction of the Temple of Jerusalem in 70 AD. The Bible states that out of the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, a thing is established. Guys, this has always been around us and in front of us. We just never knew what we were looking for, or we never knew what we were looking at. If we don't know our past, then how can we know our present or our future?
Amen to that. Amen to that. One thing, if there's anything that I think that all of us will agree on at this point, is that, do we think we've been lied to by our history books? I mean, there is so much stuff that just doesn't jive when you stop and think about it. It's crazy. It's crazy when you say, there's not a lot, I mean, there's more things that I don't believe in than things that I can say that I believe in. And I want to believe, man, I want to believe like that program X, you know, I want to believe, you know, I so want to believe the X-Files. But who knows? Who knows? Now, I got freaking 5-6 pages of notes that I hope to get through tonight. This has been a topic that I have been studying for so long, for so damn long. But let's just, I'm going to try to start at the beginning. Let me preface this, though. There is a great guy on the Foxhole. His name is Paul Thaddeus. If you're not familiar with Paul, he runs a channel called, I think it's called Old World. And Paul, for the last, year and a half, 2 years, has been doing these great dives, deep dives, into historical buildings across the planet. And what is amazing is he does the history. He goes back in time and he finds the architect and the building records and how long it took to build a certain structure. And there are these magnificent structures. I mean, just incredibly delicate architecture, stuff that we couldn't reproduce today. I'm in building. I build for a living, okay? I know the latest and greatest techniques out there, and we can't hold a candle to the shit that was built in the days of old. I'm telling you, even with all, we're told today that we've got all this technology and all the, 3D building, there's nothing we can't do. I'm telling you, that's a bunch of bullshit. That's a bunch of bullshit. Where's my favorite sticker? I got this, My Lunch Break. That's another great channel. Where's my bullshit sticker? Where's my bullshit sticker? There's a girl who calls bullshit. Hey, where is it? Here it is. Here it is. I'm putting it in the Foxhole right now. Do you guys know what this is? This, if you were deaf, this is a bull, and then you go like this, and then you go like this, and that means bullshit. That is the bullshitting, okay? We have been, folks, we have been fed a bunch of this. I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding you. I don't know. I mean, it's what's crazy is just in the 30-year period from when I went to school, history was one of my favorite subjects. History was absolutely one of my favorite subjects. And some 30 years later, when I was helping my daughters with their junior high and high school history classes and homework, I couldn't believe the stuff that they listed. In my kids, I'm like, in 30 years, they've, and I remember remarking to one of my daughters, I said, this is a load of crap. This is what's in your school book? I said, I got taught more than this. What do you, oh, I was flummoxed, to say the least. So, Satan's little season, as we have figured out, it is mentioned in the Revelations part of the Bible, chapter 20. Revelations chapter 20. Let me see if I can find this for you. Come on, Zoe. You should have had this already. I should have had a post-it note. I should have had a post-it note going right to this page, but bear with me. I'm right there. I'm right there. It's in the end of my bottle. I did want to have a flashlight in here, but I think I have enough light to read this to you. Here we are. I'm in Revelation 11. Let's go, Zoe. 18. Here we go. Revelations 20. Then I saw an angel coming down from heaven, holding in his hand the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain, and he seized the dragon, that ancient serpent, who is the devil and Satan, and bound him for 1,000 years, and threw him into the pit, and shut it, and sealed it over him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years were ended. After that, he must be loosed for a little while. So it would suggest, Satan's little season suggests, that we are in that little while. And it culminates. What happens is Satan runs around for a little while, and then there's this great Gog and Magog war. Satan assembles those people as his armies, and the Gog comes out of the north. I don't necessarily think that means he's a Norse god, Viking of some kind, but supposedly the Gog comes out of the north. He's put together with the Magog, and then there's one more battle, and then Satan is cast into the lake of fire, along with all the people who are going along with him. And I certainly don't hope I end up in that lake of fire. That's all I can say. All I can say. Now, one thing we do know is that there were some prerequisites. There were some prerequisites before Jesus was supposed to return. Okay? If you read in Luke or Mark, any of the Gospels, we are given a list of things that have to happen before Christ's return. So some of them were the gospel was to be preached to all nations. Okay, that's a given. There was going to be a great apostasy. There was going to be a major falling away from Christianity. I can vouch that has most certainly happened. The Antichrist would be revealed. And right behind him, of course, is the man of perdition, right? Cosmic signs would appear in the sky. There's certainly been no shortage of them. Then Jesus will reappear, and trumpets will sound. And, some of us Some of us have been waiting in the wings. Just we keep saying Jesus is coming. He's coming back any day now. And I mean, surely he is. But did you realize that Jesus actually comes back 2 different times? Not just once. He's coming back 2 different times. The big question is, when did Jesus return? I mean, if Christ already did come back, when was it? Right? Wouldn't that be in our Bibles? If you read Matthew 24, if you read into Matthew 24, here it is, right here, Matthew 24. Got it right here. I swear to God, I got it right here. Here it is. Matthew 24. In Matthew 24, it suggests, this is where Jesus is talking to his disciples, and they're asking him, hey, so when, all these things you're telling us, the temple's going to be destroyed. There won't be one block left upon another one. They were remarking, the apostles were around Jesus, and they were remarking at the absolute splendor of the temple that Solomon had built. And Jesus said to them, truly, I tell you, not one single stone will be left laid upon another when this place goes up. All right, let me find it right here. Okay. So he says, the apostles say to him, tell us then, when will this be? And what will be the sign of your coming and of the close of the age? The apostles were pressing him because he just said to them, okay, so wait, let me back up one verse. Jesus left the temple and was going away, and his disciples came and pointed out to him the buildings of the temple, how magnificent they were. They were just extraordinary. And he said to them, you see all these, do you not? Truly, I say to you, there will not be left here one stone upon another that will not be thrown down. As he sat on the Mount of Olives, the disciples came to him privately, saying, tell us, Master, tell us, when will this be? What will be the sign of your coming and of the close of the age? And Jesus answered them, take heed that no one lead you astray. Boy, those are words of wisdom right there. Take heed that no one lead you astray, for many will come in my name, saying, I am the Christ, and they will lead many astray, and you will hear of wars and rumors of wars, and see that you are not alarmed, for this must take place. But the end is not yet, for nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there will be famines and earthquakes in various places, and all of this is but the beginning. All of this is but the beginning of the sufferings. It is said in, let me find it. He says, this is really, it's really bad. He said the place is going to be destroyed like the earth has never, like the desolation like the earth has never seen before. Where is it? I want to give you the exact quote here. Yes, Matthew 24:21. Matthew 24:21, he says specifically, there it is. For then there will be great tribulation, such has not from the beginning of the world until now, and never will be. And those days, if those days had not been shortened, no human being would be saved. For the sake of the elect few, those days will be shortened. And if anyone says to you, "Lo, there is the Christ," or "There he is," do not believe them. For false Christs and false prophets will arise and show great signs and wonders, so as to lead people astray, if possible, even the elect. Lo, I have told you beforehand. Now, you think about this, and you know, there are certain quotes, certain scriptures in the Bible that I've often wondered about, because you want to be able to take it literally. Obviously, it was written a very long time ago, but there are certain passages that just make you scratch your head and say, how is that? And one of them in particular is where Jesus is talking to both Peter and John. Well, let me find my notes. Find my notes here. Yes. Okay. It's in the Gospel of John. In the Gospel of John, where Jesus tells Peter, when you were young, you could go wherever you wanted. But when you are older, you won't be able to go the places you used to be going to. And in this scripture, Jesus is, he is foretelling of Peter's death. He is prophesying to Peter just how it is that he is going to die with his arms outstretched. Gospel of John. Jesus tells Peter, when you were young and wherever you went, as you get older, you won't be able to go as you used to. And he spoke of his arms outstretched and how Peter was going to die. Peter says, well, Lord, what about him? And he's talking about John, okay? The apostle who Jesus loved. And Jesus says, what does it matter to you if I come back and he's still alive? Now that is in John 21, verses 20 through 23. So let me quickly go to that, because this is critical. John 21, verses 20 to 23. I told you I did my homework. Okay, there it is. John 21 to 23. Peter turned and saw them following the disciple who Jesus loved, who had lain close to his breast at the supper and had said, Lord, who is it that's going to betray you? And when Peter saw him, he said to Jesus, Lord, what about this man? And he's talking about John in particular. Jesus said to him, if it is my will that he remain until I come, what is that to you? So we know that there's another verse where Jesus says, there are some here among you who will not taste death before I return. So that's one of the verses that always had me scratching my head. In fact, he uses the word generation. Yes, Matthew 16:28. See, your brother Zoe did his fucking homework. Your brother Zoe did his homework on this one. Matthew 26:28. Some of you, there it is. Okay. 26, 28. Next page. Am I on 26? Yes, Matthew 26. 28. Oh, for crying out loud, I'm in the wrong place. Pardon my hairy legs. It's Matthew 16, 28. Yes, 16, 28, right here. And the Lord said, "For the Son of Man is to come with his angels in the glory of the Father, and he will repay every man for what he has done. Truly, I say to you," now listen to this. Listen to Jesus. These are Jesus' words. "There are some standing here who will not taste death before they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom." So, how can that verse be true unless during the lifetime of John, okay, who purportedly, John purportedly wrote the book of Revelations at the end of his life. It's understood, or at least by biblical theologians, they feel that Revelations was written in about 95 or 96 AD. Okay? 95 or 96 AD, which means John would have been every bit of 90 to 100 years old. But he's not dead. He's not dead when he writes Revelations. And purportedly, or at least the people who are pushing this idea of Satan's little season, would suggest that Jesus came back at the end of John's lifetime. Now, it says, the Bible describes, the first time that the world was destroyed, it was destroyed by water, right? It was destroyed by water during the time of Noah. But the next time when Jesus comes back, baby, he is raining down fire, okay? As he said, as we already quoted, the world will see tribulation like it has never seen and will never see again. Now, the glory of the Lord, let me quote. I want to be very, very specific on this. Yes. The second time the world is destroyed, this is Paul. This is the Gospel Paul in Colossians talking to his people. And he says, "Earth was first destroyed by water in the times of Noah. The second time the world is destroyed, it is destroyed by fire." Matthew says this will be the worst tribulation that the world has ever seen or ever will see. That is Matthew 24, verse 21. Now, let me suggest something to you. Destroyed by fire, as the guy pointed out in that video, it looks as though when you look at the giant deserts in the middle of Australia, the giant deserts in the middle of Africa, look at the deserts in the middle of Phoenix, Arizona, Nevada, northern New Mexico, those areas. Let's take a quick look at some of those areas, shall we? Let's take just a quick freaking look at. Let's start here. This is Sedona. This is Sedona, Arizona. Okay. Now, you could say that this is erosion. You could say that. Years of erosion. But I'm going to suggest to you, what if these were buildings? What if these were buildings that were destroyed by some kind of fire? Let's go back. Let's go back to some of these other images of Sedona. Okay? Is there a chance? Look at this one. Look at this one right here. Is there a chance that this one right here was a massive building on top of a mountain that was virtually melted? Look at these down here in this corner. Don't they look like they could have been? Look how vertical they are. Now, I build shit for a living. That's what I do. Okay? These look like perfectly plumb, giant edifices of some kind. Now, you might have a little bit of a hard time envisioning Sedona, and I wouldn't blame you, okay? Let's have a look instead at a little place in Turkey. Let's look at a little place in Turkey called Cappadocia. Cappadocia. Oh, for crying out loud. Look at these mountains. Do you see the way they are conical at the top? Now, yes, man has since rebuilt into these areas. Man has rebuilt these areas, but look at the shape. Look at the shape of these mountains. Look at this right here. See those structures inside of these mountains? Doesn't it look like these might have already been here and some kind of hellfire rained down and literally melted these mountains like wax? In fact, let me quote you. Let me quote for you Psalm 97.5. The day of the Lord, during the day of the Lord, the mountains are going to melt like wax. That's what it says. Those are the exact quotes. The day of the Lord, the mountains are going to melt like wax. This is over in Turkey. Look at that. Look at these. Look at these. Look at these structures. And doesn't it look like something came to... I mean, they sure as fuck didn't build them like that. That is not a roof. It looks like these were much, much bigger, and something pretty freaking serious, like hellfire, rained down upon these mountains. Don't believe me yet? Let's look elsewhere. Let's have a look at the state of Utah. What do you think about this one? What do you think about this? Do you think, whoa. Do you think that this could have been a massive city? Do you think that this could have been a massive city of buildings and that some kind of serious hellfire rained down upon it and left it in the state? Look at all the symmetrical lines through all of this, like it's dripping, like it was dripping like molten wax all the way through these mountains. Does that look natural to you? Do you think that water and erosion, you tell me, what kind of fucking rain could have come down and eroded these to look like this? Can you explain it? I can't. Now, Don't get me wrong. I'm being straight up with you, okay? Like any other topic, this idea of Satan's little season is intriguing to me. Could it be possible? Could it be possible that Christ already did come, and when he did, he rained down fire and left this place freaking devastated? I mean, when you look at stuff like, where is Monument Valley? Yeah, that's like a Monument Valley. There's some beautiful places here. Let's look here. Let's look here for a second. Is it possible? Is it possible, people, that these were some kind of beautifully tall buildings that got melted by the presence of the Lord? Okay? One more time. In Psalm 97.5, in the day of the Lord, the mountains are going to melt like wax. Now, I've seen melted wax before, and I got to tell you, we look at mountains as these big, impenetrable, strong things, but those pictures make me think that something serious happened. Something freaking serious happened to make those things look like that. Let me go back to my notes here because I'm skipping way ahead. I'm skipping way the hell ahead. So the big question is, when exactly did Jesus return? That's a hard one. It's a hard one to answer exactly, and I don't think I'm the guy to give that to you. But let's just look at some of the epistles and what, the Gospel of Peter, Paul, John, they all said, Peter said, the end of all things is at hand. That's the Apostle Peter. The Apostle Paul, who had a bright light shine on him and went from a former tax collector and a killer of Christians to a devout Christian, sharing the word of the Lord in all of the known world of that time. He said, better not to get married because the end of all is near. These are the last times. Those are Paul's words. John, the Apostle John said, quote, it is the last hour. It is the last hour. So here's an interesting thing. We know that the temple, right? The temple gets destroyed. The temple gets destroyed. If this is a book, and we've been living for 2,000 years after Christ first walked around, okay? Let me ask you a question. 2,000 years have passed since this happened. Why isn't there a book in the Bible that talks about the destruction of the temple? Why isn't there? The answer is because it hadn't happened yet. It hadn't happened yet. Now, was I there? Can I prove this to you? No. This is a supposition. It's just food for thought, people. We understand that the temple, the second temple, was destroyed in 70 A.D. when Rome came and laid waste to it, and when Rome came and laid waste to the temple in Jerusalem, I mean, they the gold melted and ran down into the foundation. They actually unearthed the stones of the very foundation to reclaim the gold that went down there, thus fulfilling prophecy in as they did it. I mean, when Jesus said, "No stone shall be unturned," he wasn't kidding. When they tore that temple down, baby, they burned that baby. They burned it to the ground. Okay, we talked about that. Oh, so there's a list of things. I read to you at the beginning a list of things that had to happen before Christ's return, right? I mentioned them to you. Gospel had to be preached to all nations, a great apostasy, falling away, the Antichrist will come, the man of perdition, a world leader will perform signs and wonders, cosmic signs will appear, Jesus will appear, trumpets will sound, as mentioned by the three Roman historians. Years and years after Christ was gone, you had Tacitus, you had Josephus, and these men, in their writings, they suggest that Nero might have been the Antichrist. Now, in the Greek, the number of the Antichrist is 666, but in the Latin, it is 616. And those who studied gematria, 616 is Nero. Now, I don't study gematria. I can't tell you how they come to that conclusion. But Nero, okay, we've all heard about the mark of the beast, right? You won't be able to buy and sell unless you have the mark of the beast on you, right? On your forehead or on your hand. Do you know that Nero had, this is true, Nero held sacrifices where he burned all of the Jewish memorabilia, and they took the ashes and put them on people's foreheads or their hands, and you could not buy or sell or do any kind of commerce without these ashes on you. Interesting. So, once again, could we have been misled? This whole mark of the beast thing that people in present times say, oh, they've said it's been everything from the UPC numbers on every good that you buy. I mean, every generation tries to read into the Bible something that relates to them so that they can understand and justify their thoughts. But is it possible? Is it possible that we're just late to the game? It's possible. There are people who believe that the book of Revelations, written by John, wasn't written for us here now. That John wrote the book of Revelations for the people living at that time when he was 100 years old. that the book of Revelations was for them, to get them to get their shit together, not for us some 2,000 years later. A really interesting thing on the Paul Thaddeus channel, I mentioned it earlier, how those magnificent buildings that he shows. Let me quickly go to a channel here. Let me go to a channel here. Yes, my lunch break. Yes, so this guy at my lunch break has an extraordinary way of showing these magnificent old buildings. Now, let me ask you something. Does it make sense? Wait, let me come back on the screen. Let me ask you something. As you know, I'm a builder. I am a builder, okay? I know all the latest and greatest techniques that we have today. I have got every year in Las Vegas, in February of every year in Las Vegas, there's an incredible convention. And you can go there and you can find absolutely the latest and the greatest construction techniques out there for doing anything, for polishing, for honing, for cutting stone and rock and polishing marble. I mean, it is one of the most, seriously, even if you are a layman who has nothing to do with construction, I promise you, if you went to the World of Concrete convention in February in Las Vegas, you would walk away from that place absolutely astounded. They always have the latest and the greatest techniques for stuff, for how to do things, okay? But I want to say to you, is when you go to this guy's channel, now this guy has been suggesting, this guy named, his channel's called My Lunch Break. And it's a really, I've been following this guy for well over a year. He points out.
And then I had a crazy.
Oh, damn it. He points out that the amazing buildings that we find all around the world, why can't we build this stuff today? Like, yes, the Vatican, okay? The incredible, look at this one here, okay? We can't build stuff like that today. We just don't have the men to do it. We don't have the intelligence. We don't have them. Look at these buildings. Look at these freaking buildings. And you know what happens over and over and over again? They take these magnificent structures. Look at these things. Look at these buildings. Okay? We couldn't build that today if our life depended on it. And if you do the history, those of you who have watched the Paul Thaddeus channel know this. If you do the history, they tear these buildings down. They claim that there was a fire or some kind of structural damage to the building. They raise them down to the bare earth, and then they build some contemporary, ugly piece of shit in its place. Like, that's the best we can do. We cannot come close to building. We can't come close to building some of these buildings like they have today. I showed them earlier in the program. Magnificent structures. Let's watch this one clip.
This is my opinion, of course, but I think this is going
I'm going to play a quick clip from him. Let's see what he says.
to be a good episode to come back to for most people that would like to introduce someone new to this topic of the old world, or a simple reminder of what we've been told is the truth versus what is really going on in front of our faces. Now, I have been seeing a few people across multiple platforms that haven't really looked into this topic, that are saying that just because we have done.
Look at the magnificence of this building, okay? Did you see that? Did you see it from I'm going to ask you a question. If Christ came back for 1,000 years to reign in peace and gather his flock here on earth, do you think that they might have shared the secrets on how to build heavenly structures such as those? Is it possible that the incredible buildings from days gone by, the ones that we keep tearing down, is it possible that those could have been built during the time when Christ came back for 1,000 years? Do you think he might have imparted some knowledge that the angels he brought with him might have shown men on earth how to construct extraordinary buildings to glorify God? Some of the, like St. Peter's Cathedral. Let me find a picture of St. Peter's. Sorry, St. Patrick's in New York City. One of the most amazing freaking places I've ever seen. Hang on. Look at this freaking building. Oh, come on. What's going on here? All right, let's try that again. Let's try that again. Yes. Look at this freaking building. Look at this freaking building. Let me bring this on screen. What is going on here? What the hell? Look at this cathedral. Look at this cathedral right here. I might make that full size. You think that man today, with all of our technology, do you think that we could build something like this? I'm here to tell you there's no way in hell. There's no way in hell that we could build this. It just doesn't happen that way. Look at this. Look at this. My God. Look at the inside of this place. Look at the inside of this place. If you wanted to glorify God with a modern temple when Jesus came back, do you think that this might be the kind of thing that you would get divine guidance from to build? Because we can't do this today. We couldn't do this today if our life depended on it. And I'm here to tell you. So, what if we didn't build these things? What if we just came along and refound all of these buildings? Because one thing that they are finding is that all of these glorious buildings have, a great many of them have a story, 2 stories underground, covered in mud, like some sort of crazy, I don't know, something dramatic happened and buried all that shit in Rome. In Rome right now, they're constantly excavating, and they are finding complete buildings 30 and 40 feet underground with mosaics and, tile and buildings that we couldn't dream of building today. Is it possible that those could have been built during the 1,000 years that Christ came back and reigned here on earth? Is it possible? I'm not saying that it happened, and I reserve the right to change my mind at any time. Well, all I'm saying to you folks, all I'm saying to you is, it is fascinating. It is fascinating that some of the scriptures in the Bible don't necessarily make sense in the timeline of today if we were still awaiting the tribulation. Some of the passages in the Bible would jive with the fact that he came back not that very long after he was crucified. I mean, if he said to Peter, look, you're going to die, and you're going to die upside down with your arms outstretched, I'm sorry, Peter. But as for you, John, the guy who I love, some of you aren't going to taste death until you see the kingdom of God. It's food for thought. It's something to consider. There are some really amazing interviews and documentaries, and let me tell you, I gotta be straight up with you. There's just as many people out there trying to debunk the idea that we are in Satan's little season as there are people purporting that it really did happen and we could be living in the aftermath. We could be living in Satan's little season. There's just as many yays as there are nays. I will tell you this. The people who are in the nay position, debunking it, they are defiant. They are absolutely positive that they are. No, there's no freaking way that we're in Satan's little season. Not going to happen. Whereas the people who are saying that it is a possibility, they're far more straightforward, saying, look, man, I can't necessarily prove this, but it is something to consider. It's amazing how the two camps are so different than one another. One is absolutely certain that it didn't happen. The other's saying, look, I can't prove that it happened, but it sure seems like a possibility to me. I will tell you, you be the judge. You be the judge. I just have to tell you that this is one topic that I found delicious. It's been quite a long time until I came across something that actually made me raise first one eyebrow, like Mr. Spock, and then raise a second eyebrow and go, It is a topic that, I mean, there's no end to the fodder out there for you to read. Have I piqued your curiosity? I hope so. Do some reading. Do some investigation. Let me know what you come up with. I'm fascinated by it. I'm not saying it's true. I'm not saying it's not true. I'm saying that I am absolutely positive that I don't know what the hell happened. Okay? I wasn't there. Is it a possibility, though? Could be. I do want to, I'm going to give you, do I have it? Do I have it here? There's one really good interview that a guy did that I do recommend to you. If you find that this might be a topic that piques your curiosity, then I'm going to share with you a link, and I invite you
Matt,
to watch
like-
this. Watch this program, and then tell me what you think. Because this guy is actually the first one to say, heck, I don't know, but it seems to make
I can
sense.
show you buried things.
So let me drop this link. We'll see. Here we go. I'm going to drop them in all the chats. How you doing, Shotzi? Good to see you. All right, Pilled, here you go. Here's a good one. There's a good one for you. Here's D Live. I invite you to watch this. Like I said, I came across this about 2 months ago. I can't tell you one way or another. All I can tell you is, it is a topic that deserves my attention and deserves more research. That's what I'm saying. So from the desk of the mystery ship, I'm going to check on out of here. I want to thank the wonderful people who donated to this show tonight. You guys are the best. I'm going to release the scratching over there at Pilled Foxhole. And you people over at D Live, you're going to have to wait until tomorrow during my rock show for me to release more lemons, because I'm really going the wrong direction. I keep going down instead of up. But tomorrow during the day, I host one of the best classic rock shows you've ever listened to. I'll probably start about 10 a.m. Pacific time. So just do the math to wherever you're at. If you're East Coast time, it'll be 1 o'clock. All right? Central, 12. Mountain, it'll be 11. Zoso plays the best classic rock ever. You can catch me on D Live, on Pilled, on Rumble, and on X, okay? I can't do it over at YouTube, and I certainly can't do it at Twitch. They'll spank me. Do you also know, and this is really cool, each and every Sunday night, folks, each and every Sunday night, I host a great movie, okay? Handpicked especially for you in the coming few weeks. I got 4 movies right here, brand new, still in the plastic. I can't wait to show them to you. Great stuff. Great stuff coming up Sunday nights at 6 p.m. Pacific. That's 9 p.m. Eastern. It's the way to finish off the weekend. Come watch a great movie with Zoso, commercial free, no edits. It's the real movie. I've got Charlton Heston in The Omega Man. I've got, this is a great film, Slaughterhouse 5 coming. I have Charles Bronson in The Mechanic with Jan Michael Vincent. Great film. I got more than that. I got The Pink Panther coming. The Pink Panther Strikes Again. I've got a wonderful movie called Sneakers with Robert Redford and a host of stars. It's fantastic. Come join me on Sunday nights, 6 p.m. for a great film. It's a way to finish off the weekend. It's strange, when movies came out and you went and hung out in a theater, you couldn't talk to your friends because people would say, shh, don't talk in the theater. But when you watch them with me, you can chat in the chat all you want and say, God, what a lousy movie. Or, man, what a great movie. I'm happy to have you. Come join me this Sunday night at 6 p.m. Oh, look at this. I'm getting a raid. From INN. Thank you kindly. Just in time for me to raid someone else. That's exactly what's going to happen. I appreciate each and every one of you hanging out with me tonight. I hope you found tonight's topic interesting and worth exploring a little more. Go check out that link I dropped you. I'm telling you, it'll make you raise an eyebrow. There's no question about it. No question about it. All right. I am going to boogie on down the road. Boogie on down the road. All right, people. Have yourselves a wonderful weekend. And we will catch you. We will catch you on the flip side. All right. Be good, my friends. Be good. Have a great weekend. Have a great freaking weekend.